There we go. Thank you. I call this public hearing to order. It is the public hearing on the proposed 2024 tax rate. Today is Monday, August 26, 2024. It is 8:30 a.m. and we are in the Commissioner's courtroom in the Aransas County Courthouse. Roll call.
Commissioner Cheney,
Here.
Commissioner Casterline,
Here.
Commissioner Russo, here, Commissioner Dupnick,
Here.
Judge Garza.
Here, we've got a full quorum. And at this time, we will hear public comments will be taken regarding the proposed 2024 tax rate used to fund the 2025 budget.
So should we have Jackie read off what the proposed rate is?
Sure.
Kind of into the record, you might say, or something like that.
The proposed rate is 0.37000. Of that, the county debt for interest and sinking is 0.037584. Mosquito control is 0.000900. The M&O for county is 0.283984. Road and Bridge M&O is 0.39481. Flood debt is 0.006118, and flood M&O is 0.001969 for that total of 37 cents. We also will be scheduling the adoption of the tax rate for September 9th at our regular meeting.
Jackie, in that rate, am I correct that the only rate that changed from last year is the county M&O?
The debt rate probably changed a little bit just because of the amount that we owe, but it's way it's calculated. But yes, the M&O, the county M&O is the main change on it.
What was that about the debt rate? I'm sorry, Pat, I didn't mean to interrupt you.
The debt rate is calculated on how much we owe, and since we paid one off, things adjusted a little bit, and so the debt rate could have changed slightly. It's not a lot different. We try to keep it pretty level, so it's the M&O is the one that was the big change.
And then Jackie, when you read that first one, county debt interest and sinking, I'm not sure if you maybe transposed two of the numbers. Because I think you ended it in 8.4 and my sheet says 4.8.
It's 4.8. If
Okay.
I very possibly I did.
Okay. Well, another one's 8.4, so I understand.
Commissioner Dupnick,
Sir?
did you have something?
Oh, no, she
Oh.
clarified what I wanted.
How long do we wait? Anybody sign up?
Nope.
No, okay.
And then we didn't drop road and bridges, did we? I know I'll probably get accused of dropping it, taking money away from them.
No, theirs is calculated separately and we have to keep theirs the same. We actually increased road and bridge. We gave flood. Well, we reduced because it's split between flood and road and bridge. And we reduced what we gave flood and put a little bit more in road and bridge. Not a lot because there's not a lot to work with, but.
Remember that road you said you didn't have money to pay? Now you got it.
Oh, well, I don't know about that.
Colin, is there anybody online that wishes to speak?
Unfortunately, we never know how many people are going to show up, so we have to give it like
We normally give what, 15 minutes?
15 minutes. Yes, sir. The next public hearing starts at 8:45 for the budget. We will have another public hearing on September 5th. Because of the way that the taxes have to be adopted within 3 days, 7 days after the public hearing. And because of the way the budget is and the way that we could adopt the budget, we're going to have a second, not required, but we are going to have a second public hearing so that we can meet our requirements on timelines.
Joanne, are the values online yet?
Not yet.
When might they be?
I'm working with the company to get it switched over, so there's will be, once I get done calculating everybody, get everybody going, that's when we started letting.
But I think what he's asking about is the assessed values, and they're not there yet either. I looked the other day and they're not on yet.
They, on which online,
On the appraisal district.
they should.
Well, I looked, like it's been a few days since I looked, so
Public website.
no, I was talking about the appraisal district because I was looking for individual.
That's the
Um,
easiest place for me to go.
Mhm. I was looking for individuals and they weren't on when I was looking, and it was probably,
I
Maybe,
looked yesterday and
are they
just
there?
for one or two and they weren't on yet.
Yeah.
What site are you talking about?
To the taxation website that the state, that, they require us to upload to. That was, every year used to get a postcard. Now they just have to, publish
But
it.
that just has our total numbers. That's not, doesn't break it down by property. Right? I'm
Well,
talking
that will
about,
have-
the-
You'll have your assessed value, but no, that just has a total.
Yeah, no.
The appraisal district will have it broke down by.
we're interested in looking through and seeing per property what the changes were.
The one I'm talking about will have basically your estimated taxes.
Yeah.
Once we get all the rates adopted and everything before the bills go out.
What's the date you have to send the certified tax rolls up or file them?
The appraisal district,
Ye-
they send them to me July 25th.
No, for yourself, don't you have to send some papers to, or,
The appraisal district takes care of that July 25th for me.
okay, well, I thought there's a September date you have to have. Cause I remember last year we were looking at having, we had to approve the navigation district. And at first we're gonna hold it, and then you said you have to have that.
What we're talking about is having them adopted so we can get the bills out on time. Because I have to have the bills out by October 1st or shortly thereafter. So
Okay,
in order for me to do that, to have them processed on time with you doing the software and get into the vendors, it takes a couple weeks.
okay,
So I have always asked if everybody could please adopt by the middle of September, so the
That-
bills can go out in a timely fashion, because the school districts, their year starts September 1st. So they're looking for that money to come in, as soon as we can get all the bills out collecting.
well, will the navigation district need to come here this year?
Yes. We do have a deadline of September 30th, but like Anna said, we do work to get it prior to that so she can get them out. Because the sooner if she waits too long, then it changes the penalty dates.
Okay, thank you.
Am I still correct on it? Yeah. Haven't done it in a long time.
Oh, not to have Mike here.
Morning, Mr. Brundrett.
How you doing, Judge?
How
Glad
about all
to
your
be-
travels?
I'm not glad to be back to the temperature, but I'm glad to be back home.
Nice, good to see you.
Where all did you go?
Sir,
Where all did you go?
I'm sorry, I don't.
I say, where all did you go?
Oh, Colorado,
Same like you always do.
yeah. Near Creed and Lake City and all that area. A lot cooler there.
Yeah.
Wake up 47 degrees in the morning.
Mm.
Shouldn't say that, y'all will throw something.
I'm going Saturday, I can't wait.
Commissioner Dupnick, I think the date you're thinking about is August 7th, if it's 7th pops in your head. August 7th is the deadline that I am to get the rates to all the governing bodies after I calculate them. I think that's what, because I kept thinking 7th, I'm like, that's August 7th.
Okay, thank you. I knew there was some date you said you had to get everything out. I couldn't remember.
Yeah, that is, the 7th is required. That's like a date, but I try to get those to you as soon as I get the certifieds to me, because I know everybody's timeframes are a little bit different and the school's even a little bit they have to adopt by the end of this month.
Okay,
So I do try to get those out as soon as I can, but that August 7th is that deadline.
okay,
Okay.
thank you.
Is that for Jackie and Adele? Okay. No, I wondered who was getting a microphone, but then I saw that you all didn't have one. I thought, okay.
Oh, go switch them out. Okay, thank you.
So can we adjourn it like 20 till? So Jackie,
Can we? Yeah.
Missy was just mentioning that the sign-in sheets have to be changed each time the hearing or meeting changes. So can we adjourn a little before 8:45 so she can get those sheets switched out?
Sure, we haven't had any public, there's nobody commenting. We could do it now so she can get all that
Okay.
changed and then.
Move to adjourn.
I'll second it.
Got a motion to adjourn in a second.
Commissioner Russo,
Aye.
Commissioner Dupnick,
Aye.
Judge Garza.
Aye, we adjourned at 8:42. It is. All right. I now call this a public hearing on the proposed 2025 budget to order. It is Monday, August 26th, 2024. It is 8:45 and we are in the Commissioner's Courtroom of the Aransas County Courthouse. Roll call.
Commissioner Cheney,
Here?
Commissioner Casterline,
Here.
Commissioner Russo,
Here.
Commissioner Dupnick,
Here.
Judge Garza.
Here, we've got a full court. items for deliberation is, we'll take public comments that will be taken regarding the the proposed Aransas County 2025 budget. We'll start the timer now. 8:46. Do we have anybody signed up? Calling anybody online? David, do you want to comment on the budget? You good? Okay.
I'll give you some information. Tana just went to get me a sheet of paper. As you know, we've had 3 workshops on this budget. Everybody's worked really hard, all departments with the commissioners and elected officials, everyone's worked really hard on it. It's a good budget. It's tight. Nobody has a lot of fluff in there or any fluff really. We're anticipating increases in insurance and electricity bills, mainly because of the new courthouse when it comes on. It is based on the 37-cent tax rate. So it's a good tight budget, and we're still anticipating going into fund balance. At this time, it's 400,000. That may change after the special meeting tomorrow, or will change. But that's for general fund. Total on the budget for okay. I'm gonna say that doesn't look. Approved expenditures is 47,311,756. This does include capital. It does include transfers, debt service payments, everything. You'll get a copy of this in your new budget when we get it finished. If you have any questions.
I have a couple of questions, Jackie.
Okay.
Since we're sitting here, I can figure I'll just go ahead and ask them. And this is just my not knowing. But there are different funds, mostly the INS funds,
Yes, ma'am.
for like 320, the certificates of obligation 2012, and then 335
Mhm.
certificate of obligation for 2016. And I see where we are paying agents fees or bond attorney fees. Also, INS 360 and INS 361. Could you just explain those, please?
What the agent fees are is we have to have a third party hold the bonds for us and make the payments, do all of the handling. They don't always bill us, but if we anticipate that there may be a bill, we also have to have arbitration occasionally, which is where they go in and they audit and make sure we're not making more interest than what we're paying on the bonds, because we can't make more interest than we pay. The bond, the other things, I don't think there's any amount on those. They were probably initially on there. But that's what the agent fees are, is normally just extra charges that we have like that we can include in there.
So there are service fees that the bond holding company charges us? That what are you
It's the
saying?
third party agent that is actually holding them and handling the payments for us. It doesn't have anything to do with financial advisors or bond attorneys or anything like that. We're required to have a third party hold them and do the transactions for us. And those companies will charge us occasionally.
Similar to an escrow agent, perhaps?
Basically, yes, ma'am.
And do we use different?
No, we have one that's set up. Each one of them has one, and most of them, I believe, are US Bank. I think Chase Bank does one of them, but I think the rest of them are US Bank.
Thank you.
Mm-hmm.
Just figure I learn a little bit more every year.
It's taken me 40 years to learn them.
I don't want to be here that long.
You mentioned increase in insurance. And In 2017, our insurance premiums were 181,000, give or take a few,
Mhm.
round number. Today, 2024, our insurance premiums was 954,000. And that's like over a 500% increase.
Yes.
Last year it was 1.1 million, but this year we decided to self-insure a couple of buildings out at the airport. But we still got to budget that money and is it going to go into a sinking fund or,
Yeah, well, it'll go into a replacement fund, yes,
Okay.
sir.
but we still got to budget that money but anyway, that was kind of interesting how much insurance has risen.
And unfortunately, that doesn't include the new courthouse. We're
It doesn't include- what
anticipate,
did
it
you
does
say?
not include the new courthouse and insuring yet.
It doesn't include the new courthouse.
The new one for 25, yes, we did include,
Oh, okay.
but it's quite a substantial increase.
Morning. Yes.
Jackie, do you know, is there any ARPA money left? Do we have any of those funds left? Have they
No,
all
sir.
been exhausted?
It's all been taken.
Okay, 100%.
Yeah, we had to have it all obligated by December of this year. And our
Okay.
last project that we're working on getting a contract for is going to obligate all of it.
Okay. All right, thank you. And the question, the reason I ask is because in the next couple of weeks, I'm going to present the commissioners with a request to get our DBE standards or DBE program, some consultants to help us with that, and then develop our goals. And DBE stands for designated, or is it the designated disadvantaged business or enterprise?
Mm.
And we have to have that in order to qualify for some earmarked money for the airport that is in escrow with the Department of Transportation in Washington. And that is right now it's $745,000. After this year, after September 1st, it'll be just around little over $1 million. And then next year we'll get our last installment of $294,000. So for a total of $1.3 million that'll be available to us, but it's got to have a 10% match when we use it. And so the project that I want to use it on is for some design and engineering or a much larger project at the airport. And that will be funded by a bigger grant called DSIP that we've talked about, Defense Community Infrastructure Program Grant. And the reason I bring it up is that 10% match is,
Okay.
I don't know how to budget.
That's how you're
for that.
tying into the budget. Okay.
Yeah.
I was like, let's keep it
Yeah.
to budget.
So I'm just trying to figure out, I have $85,000 in my grants budget that we can use for grant match or reimbursement. But you know, if it ends up being if we get, you know, I think it's $130,000 is the match for the BIL money if we're able to qualify for it, if we're able to get DBE standards and goals established. Just the thought, I may have to come back and ask for new money is my point. If I can sell you on the bigger project, on the bigger idea.
Right.
Okay, just letting you know.
All right. I'm gonna wait one more minute and then I'll entertain a motion to adjourn. Any of you gentlemen here to comment on the public hearing? No. Okay. All right.
Motion to adjourn.
Got a motion and a second to adjourn.
Commissioner Cheney,
Aye.
Commissioner
Aye.
Casterline, Commissioner Russo,
Aye.
Commissioner Dupnick,
Aye.
Judge Garza.
Hi, it's 8:55. We are adjourned.
Pat, don't be small. Okay. Ready?
Good morning. So I call this regular meeting to order. It is the 26th day of August, 2024. It is 9 a.m. and we are in the Commissioner's Courtroom in the Aransas County Courthouse. Please stand and join me for the invocation.
Heavenly Father, again, we're thankful for the blessings of this day. We're thankful for the rain showers that seem to be around us, and we just pray that you would provide some much needed rain for this porch ground. And Father, looking at the agenda today, and I know what this Commissioner's Court has been going through, trying to plan a budget and trying to plan for the year ahead, and we know they've had a difficult thing on their plate to deal with. And Father, I pray wisdom over them as they make decisions and we move forward. And I'm reminded about the old Aggie engineer during the World War II that built the Alaskan Highway. And he said, we do the difficult things immediately. The impossible thing just take a little longer. And Lord, you've given not only this Commissioner's Court difficult things, but you've even given them almost some impossible things to conquer. And we know that they're going to rely on you for wisdom of how to move forward and to solve all those challenges put before them. And we just pray for them today as they go through the agenda and just bless over this county and keep us safe. In your name we pray. Amen.
Amen.
Amen. Please join me with the pledges.
Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Honor the Texas flag. I pledge allegiance to thee, Texas, one state, under God, one and indivisible.
Thank you. Roll call.
Commissioner Cheney,
Here.
Commissioner Casterline.
Here.
Commissioner Russo,
Here?
Commissioner Dupnick,
Here.
Judge Garza.
Here, we've got a full quorum. All right, before we move on, I'm going to strike the treasurer's report. So I'll be striking
Number 11.
number 11. And was there a road and bridge one that was incorrectly? Oh,
She did an amend agenda and fixed
Okay, all
that.
right. Cool. All right, at this time, we'll let citizens be heard. Anybody sign up? Anybody online? Anybody want to talk? All right. Section 6, presentations and proclamations. We got a presentation from Allegiance Ambulance Service, Ms. Newsom. And this was because when we had a budget hearing, we were discussing how much money we're going to be allocating to Allegiance.
Okay, I guess it can still be in.
Right, so based off the last presentation, I went back and got a breakdown of what the actual city versus county versus town of Fulton would actually be for that additional unit. When Dan and I were pulling the numbers over the weekend, we came up with a secondary option, but the first option, the county's part for that additional unit, because he was able to bring it down just a little bit, would be a monthly cost of $21,750 with an annual of $261,000, which was 29% of what the y'all are paying for the contract this at this current time.
How much was that yearly amount?
It was $261,000.
And do you have a presentation to go on?
I do not. I'm
Okay.
sorry.
This was kind of last minute, yeah.
So how much are we paying now?
300,000.
We actually pay about $11,000 a month, which is about $130,000 a year. We did budget an increase this time, so
Is that amount for putting an additional unit in service? Was that what it?
Yes, so that amount is for 4 dedicated units to Aransas County, City of Rockport.
We're not talking about changing the fee on the existing.
No, that's
amount
just
units.
for the additional unit. One of the other options that we came up with during pulling the numbers was back when Allegiance was bidding for Aransas County, they had Coastal Care EMS here. Well, they have now since closed. And after they closed, the city was considering making Allegiance, like doing an ordinance for Allegiance being exclusive to Aransas County for 911 and transfer units. If we were to able to make that an option where you get the exclusion for Allegiance, it would be no additional cost for a 4th unit because the amount of transfers out of the ER would help balance out the payroll and expenses for to have Allegiance as a 4th additional unit for the county.
So what would somebody think the negative of doing that is?
The negative that someone would think about that is not being able to have any other units come in, like services to provide additional resources. But with making Allegiance as an exclusive, we'll have the extra resources to be able to come in. But that doesn't exclude us being able to call for mutual aid for like Refugio and Tri-County to, right. They'll still be able to come in because they're coming in under a mutual aid contract.
So what you're saying is if we decide to make Allegiance our only ambulance service, that y'all will waive the $269,000 or whatever it is.
Yes, so if we were to do a exclusive ordinance for the city and county to where no one can come in and take out without going through the 911 system, obviously, then Allegiance will add in a 4th unit to Aransas County as a contracted 4th unit dedicated to serve Aransas County.
Might that make a difference to what an individual or their insurance will be charged?
No, the pricing would remain the same based off of what everyone's rates would be. Those are usually based off of the Medicare, Medicaid at the current year. Just a little research I did over the weekend. In 2024 alone, we've had 20 level zeros since January 1. And that is calculated by the responses that are over 20 minutes due to the 3 dedicated units being out and having additional resources coming in. We also had 100 calls that were 911 calls that were run in Aransas County since January 1 that were additional to the 3 dedicated units. Most of those we were able to bring units into town before we leveled out. But the level zeros are the ones where all of our resources were exhausted. But with that 100 calls, that's not including the Refugio or Tri-County mutual aids that we've had this year as well.
Initially, when we looked at having a 4th ambulance option, that was to help fill that time, the dead time when ambulances are
Yes.
maybe tied up at a hospital or something like that.
Yes.
So by going with this option 2, is that going to be alleviated or?
It will help alleviate as the call volume grows. If we don't improve and grow our unit availability, then we're going to run into that issue. But at this current time, with the amount of call volume that we're seeing throughout each month, a 4th unit should alleviate most of this. If we have like a major accident and we have multiple units on that, that's where that may come into play, but it'll help alleviate some of that.
So if we went with the option 2, or, it hasn't been discussed yet, but if you look at an option 2, you would still bring in a 4th ambulance, but
Yes,
part of its cost will be offset by the transfers.
Yes.
And then an emergency call would take precedent over the transfers, correct?
Well, if we brought in that fourth unit, it would be dedicated to 911 calls.
Okay.
We currently have a fourth unit in Aransas County, but that is, they do the transfers out of the ER here, and then they do the backup 911. It's not dedicated. It is just kind of a complimentary thing to help out with the ER, because the ER is only 6 beds and gets pretty busy.
Okay.
So in the past, when we talked about adding a unit, there was talk about maybe stationing it in Lamar, maybe I think the fire station in the offer place. Would y'all do that, or we just?
That is
They
an
just keep
option.
rotating.
That is an option that we could do. I could get with Mr. Stubbs and discuss having a unit out there all the time. That would help out with the Lamar Holiday Beach calls. We could actually set that out there and have that unit there. And then if they have anything that's between, say, Fulton and in like in the area of the airport, we can shift it in because it'd be a shorter response time as well. Because right now, as it is, going to Lamar Holiday Beach from where we're at is about 15 to 16 minutes is kind of where we're at, depending on time of day, traffic, and the current location trying to get to them.
I can say from experience, we've had 4 ambulance calls this year, on the last 365 days to my house. Stroke, heart attack, just all kinds of different things. It is the best ambulance service I've ever seen. I mean, they take you in and get you stabilized as quickly as they don't waste any time. And I followed one in the other day and just to see the safety on it from the time that I picked them up on 35 bypass at Griffith. The brake lights went on one time, which told me that they were driving the speed limit and given distance and everything. And they never missed a blinker, and they never once moved into a situation that I used to drive an ambulance. So I know, a little bit about that, not a lot, but a little bit, but I mean, I was very impressed with them. So not only from the time they called, which they were very timely, and it would have been a bad situation if we hadn't had the ambulances, but from the time they called to the time took my wife to the hospital on it, there's no way they could have done it faster. And they did a good job. They did a really good job.
Well, being from Aransas County MS, raising up into that 26 years of that, I've strived to make my crews to those standards. So,
There's some big.
I have a
people.
question,
yes, ma'am.
just for clarification. So we might agree to this. Does the city also need to agree to this?
Yes, if it's going to be ordinance, the city would probably have to do one the same. That would be a discussion.
Okay,
And if
so
they-
you would be responsible for taking that to them and.
Yes, I've already sent it to the city manager this morning.
Okay, so we would have 4 ambulances here in the county starting out, and then as calls come in and they may have to transport someone, there would be less than 4, but we would have 4. if
You would
there were
have
calls going.
4 dedicated trucks to 911. Yes, ma'am.
But you would still be, I mean, currently with the number you have, if you're short here, don't you rotate some in from like?
We do try to shift some in.
So you would still be doing that? even
yes,
if you had
sir.
an extra-
Yeah. It wouldn't be any change from our operations as it is now. It was just adding an additional unit. Yes.
No confusion.
So when you talked about though, making a call out to Referio or some other place, that would be if all 4 ambulances were being used at the time and you needed essentially a 5th ambulance?
Yes, ma'am.
Does that happen very often?
Not very often, but it's had its moments. We actually had a MVA South Rockport not too long ago where we actually had a unit come from Mathis and Centon to help out with the unit, the
I don't
911
know what
calls.
an MBA is.
Oh, sorry, a motor vehicle accident.
Oh, MBA.
Yes.
Thank you.
Thank you.
May I ask a question for clarification? If we took option 1, is that 261,000 in addition to the 130,000?
As far as I know, that would be what would be dedicated for
So
the,
that's the total payment was the 261?
yes, ma'am, I believe
Okay.
so.
I just wanted to make sure that we're budgeting correctly.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, and otherwise, we would just budget for the number of calls that would be in the county that we would be responsible for? Is that how we would do it?
Right now, it's just a flat fee. We would have to renegotiate contracts and stuff
Okay.
if we're going to change anything.
So we don't know exactly what that number would be.
Well, I mean, at this point, she's saying it would be 261 if it wasn't an exclusive.
Right, but if it
Yeah.
is an exclusive,
Then it should be, I would say by percentage of what our calls are is what we would look at trying to do the
sounds like-
contract.
If you took the second one, you actually might could reduce the budget
yeah.
by that.
This is budgeted out of healthcare sales tax. So, yeah, we could.
Okay.
Well, thank you for the option, Stephanie.
Stephanie, one other thing. So just in progression, if Commissioners Court looked at this next meeting or whatever and chose to do it, and the city chose not to do it, then is the offer off the table, or is it gotta be all or nothing?
I would believe it would have to be all or nothing. But I know that with discussions with the city, they've expressed that they know that there's kind of need another ambulance, actually in our monthly meetings. So hopefully we'll be able to come to an agreement.
And could we get just from this next year, could we get a monthly report of just how many runs are made? We don't have to know what they are or anything, but just because if you haven't used the ambulance, sometimes you don't know how active they really are.
She provides a monthly report.
Yeah,
I mean, we
that'd be
meet once a
awesome.
month.
Right. Currently, right now, we're averaging anywhere between 390 to 450 calls a month for Aransas County as a whole. That's
Yeah.
not the dedicated or separated out between city and county calls.
And do we have room up at the EMS barn for another ambulance?
Yes, sir.
So you're averaging about 13 calls a day.
hmm
That's a lot of calls.
It is, safety net for the crews are about 100 calls per truck per month. So we're well beyond that.
All right. Thank you, Stephanie.
Mhm.
All right, we're gonna move on to the consent agenda. Do you have a motion?
I move to approve the consent agenda.
Second.
Got a motion and a second. Any feedback, comments? All right.
Commissioner Cheney,
Aye.
Commissioner Casterline,
Aye.
Commissioner Russo,
Aye.
Commissioner Dupnick,
Aye.
Judge Garza.
Aye. We have no county reports, no county road and floodplain. We're gonna move on to section 10, contracts and grants. Number 4.
I move to approve authorizing the county judge to sign the lease agreement for unit 2740 located at the Harbor Oak Shopping Center for the relocation of various elected and appointed county offices.
I'll
Second
second that.
that.
Got a motion and a second. And this unit is
This is the old title company. It's down the strip there. One thing that we think we might run into, and of which I've asked the landlord's attorney for clarification. It is highly likely that we will need to modify the space to include a handicap accessible bathroom. As soon as we move in, we make it a public building. We're in receipt of federal funds. We're required to follow the ADA for our own employees. If anybody else uses the space, that same ADA requirement would transfer over to them. The bathroom, as it is right now, does not have the 5-foot turning radius for a wheelchair to get inside that bathroom. So even though this is a very move-in ready space, it's likely that we will need to get that work done as quickly as possible. And for the record, in any other place where we occupy, we would need to make sure that the bathrooms are ADA accessible.
Is that the arcade building?
it is the title building next to.
It's right next to Banjo's.
And we have quotes, Renee, for doing that work. For L.
So I'm sorry, for the title company, we do not have any quotes, official quotes yet. A contractor did come in. He said it would be about $15,000 to make that into an ADA restroom. We do have a couple of quotes for the arcade. Overall to do the whole entire building, which did include making ADA bathrooms. And that was really just removing paneling in that bathroom, those separator panels. And we do not have any quotes or anything for across the street yet.
I think we have much of a choice.
Yeah, so we don't have much of a choice. All right, any other questions, comments?
Commissioner Cheney,
Aye.
Commissioner Casterline,
Aye.
Commissioner Russo,
Aye.
Commissioner Dupnick,
Aye.
Judge Garza.
Aye, passes 5-0. Item number 5.
I move to approve awarding a contract for the sheriff's office radio tower equipment and the installation to the highest scoring company, Motorola Solutions Incorporated, and authorize the county judge to execute all necessary documents.
Second.
Got a motion and a second. Morning,
Aye.
Sheriff.
I had a question on this, Sheriff, or someone. Is
Sure.
there an estimated cost for this?
Cause isn't that an ARPA project? Am I right?
It's one of our MIT-mod projects, and I want to say it was 800,000, something like that.
It was in the ballpark, yes, ma'am. I didn't bring it with me, but it's in an $800,000 range. The project itself has not received the total final approval. I don't think they're
No,
waiting,
sir, it has not.
but it's cleared most of the hurdles. But they advised us to go ahead and secure our estimates and quotes. So we went out for bids on that and scored those accordingly.
Now, what is this actually for? I mean, where's it gonna be and what are we gonna?
It's
do?
to put the equipment in at 188 and bypass at the new tower that the fire department placed there. And then to establish the microwave links between all three of the towers, which would allow them to talk either direction back and forth. If we lose one, the other two would stay in communication with each other.
And are y'all the only ones that use that or does this?
No, sir, that's fire, EMS, and law enforcement, all three.
All right. Thank you, Sheriff.
You're welcome.
Commissioner Cheney,
Aye.
Commissioner Casterline,
Aye.
Commissioner Russo,
Aye.
Commissioner Dupnick,
Aye.
Judge Garza.
Aye, passes 5-0. Item number 6.
I move to approve awarding a contract for compensation study to Evergreen Solutions LLC and authorize the county judge to execute all necessary documents.
I'll second that.
Got a motion and a second. Desiree is not here. Her son's having surgery.
That's right.
Is Eric?
Eric's not here.
Eric's taking his test today.
Oh, okay.
I had a couple of questions maybe Adela can address, and I was on this rating committee. So I don't have a question about that, but on page 3 of the contract under scope of work, talks about job description review and revisions where a need is determined. And then right under that, that was H, and then I is this would begin with fiscal year 2025. And well, that they would develop the plan for fiscal year 2025. And I'm thinking that that might be an unlikely time frame because I mean, we're currently working on the budget for 2025 and they'll need to take a look at this. And it might be more feasible to say that it would be implemented in fiscal year 2026. And then on page 4, under compensation, A, says the parties acknowledge that upon request by the county for development of a job description, they'll charge a $250 fee. When we looked at this proposal, we were only looking for a compensation study, not really for redoing job descriptions. I know we've had conversations about that, but I'm very nervous about having that included in here, especially at the hit of $250 per job description. Because I know that we can, through the HR listserv, get pretty good job descriptions from other counties to use without paying $150 a pop. So those are my concerns, the job description being in there and then saying that we're going to implement this in fiscal year 2025.
Right. If I could go out of order to start with the one for $250 fee, that one's for developing a new job description, not for the old one. But I don't think we have to take them up on that option. It says request by the county, so we can just say we're not going to request it. And we could pursue our own things that might be free through the listserv or even other surrounding counties. For the other one, my understanding is that this will take about 60 days. I'm pulling that from my memory, so I might need to follow up and get the correct number there from Eric and Desiree. Their job is included in this is to present something to us, whether or not the Commissioners Court decides to act on what they receive for the next fiscal year would be completely separate from. They're going to do the work, present you with an outcome, present you with a plan, and leave it there. And that's where that would end. It places no obligation on the Commissioners Court to act affirmatively. So hypothetically, you could put it off until 2026 and not violate anything under the contract.
Well, we would, if they're talking about doing the work in 2025 to be actuated in 2026, not do it in 3 months and then do it the next month.
No, I think it would start immediately.
No, I'm talking about the job, the actual work. They're going to have to do the work before they do all the time motion studies and things like that they do. Maybe.
From my understanding from Desiree's presentation was that this would be done, but would not be implemented until 26.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
I remember.
Okay.
And maybe that's okay to say 2025 and then we just decide to move it to 2026. I was thinking it was going to be more of a 120-day process, but
Yeah, the time that it takes them to do the job.
yeah.
Mhm.
I was just,
Implementation.
I just want to be clear that the Commissioners Court would have no duty to act on whatever they receive whenever they receive it. That's a completely separate decision left up to the court.
So, and do they give a estimated time in the contract?
I think so. I thought it was 60 days, but we're hearing as much as 120.
Yeah. Well,
So we can confirm that and find out when Desiree and Eric are back.
as long as it's not a year or not open-ended, that's what.
no, it
No,
wasn't.
sir.
concern
It's-
was there.
It should be quick.
Commissioner Cheney,
Aye.
Commissioner Casterline,
Aye.
Commissioner Russo,
Aye.
Commissioner Dupnick,
Aye.
Judge Garza.
Aye, passes. 5-0. Item number 7.
I move to approve resolution R 20-2024, a resolution authorizing Storm Management Technical Committee's recommendation to select Poppy Dawson engineers for professional services associated with countywide drainage study funded through the CDBG MIT MOD grant.
Second.
Got a motion and a second. Mr. Reed. Good morning, sir.
Good morning. So the technical committee interviewed 3 engineering teams for the countywide master plan. And Pape Dawson was the one that was recommended to Commissioners Court for approval. Any questions?
I have a comment.
Okay.
I was one of the raters initially where we had the 9 firms that had applied and then it was reduced down to 3. And I did reference checks on all of those firms as I normally do if I'm on a rating committee. And I will say that when I called one of the references for Pape Dawson, the gentleman that I talked with said that you could not hire a better engineering consultant firm in the state of Texas, which was about the highest praise I received from any of the references. So I'm
Yeah,
glad we're going this direction.
I think we have a really good team here and I expect them to do a great job.
Questions? All right.
Commissioner Cheney,
Aye.
Commissioner Casterline,
Aye.
Commissioner Russo,
Aye.
Commissioner Dupnick,
Aye.
Judge Garza.
Aye, passes 5-0. Thought you were gonna say something else. Item number 8.
Move to approve change order number 1 for construction contract for Southwest Aransas County and the county's general land office, community development block grant disaster relief contract number 20-065-098-C 270 to LCR Total Transport LLC. Change order number 1 increases the contract time by 93 days and with no increase to the dollar amount.
I'll second that.
Got a motion and a second. Just read it again.
They're asking for more time. Any questions? I mean,
Well, I think they're asking for more time because we added some more things to that project, correct?
right.
Yep.
Right.
So how are they coming on the crossovers over 1069? Are they pretty close?
Yeah, they're pretty close. I think they've got them all in. I don't know that they've got the paving finished on all of
They weren't paved yesterday as I
them. Okay.
bounced through them.
So I thought I heard y'all say one time before that they're not all boxes, or are they not all the same size?
They are not all the same size. I don't recall exactly,
Just curious why that happened.
yeah, the hydraulics came out that way.
But you don't anticipate that's going to be a problem.
No.
Okay.
These are several different locations with different amounts of flow going through them.
Okay.
Commissioner Cheney,
Aye.
Commissioner Casterline,
Aye.
Commissioner Russo,
Aye.
Commissioner Dupnick,
Aye.
Judge Garza.
Aye. Passes 5-0. Item number 9.
I move to approve change order number 3 for construction contract for Holiday Beach Road improvements in the county's general land office, community development block grant, disaster relief contract number 20-065-098-C 270 to LCR Total Transport. Change order number 3 increases the contract time by 29 days with no increase in the dollar amount.
Second.
Got a motion and a second.
So again, you know, it's hot, it's dusty, but no change in the money. So
They did lose a few days also with Alberto because I know
they did, yeah,
the west end of Holly Beach especially, and then the ditches on the east side.
right. But this project is coming along and we expect to be substantially completed next week or this week maybe.
All right.
Commissioner Cheney,
Aye.
Commissioner Casterline,
Aye.
Commissioner Russo,
Aye.
Commissioner Dupnick,
Aye.
Judge Garza.
Aye, passes 5-0. Item number 10.
Move to approve soliciting request for proposals from vendors for planning and management services to update the hazardous mitigation action plan with local hazard mitigation plans program funds.
I'll second it.
Got a motion and a second.
David, I know this has Kat's name on it, but since she works for you, we did not get any paperwork on that.
I'm not sure what paperwork is there.
Nothing.
I don't know what paperwork is available. This is, she was talking with the GLO about this, and I think this is a no match grant to have this this done. Is that, she talked to you about that, Jackie?
Yes, this is, they're looking for vendors to update our hazardous mitigation plan. This is required for all of our grants, and they are working with GLO on it.
So when it says local hazard mitigation plan program funds, are those funds that would be coming from the GLO?
Yes, ma'am.
That's good to know, not us.
And this
And
is
it-
just request for proposals. We're not approving money. Okay.
Right.
All right. And we need to have this done before the next hurricane, whenever that may be.
Need to have this done sooner than that. ASAP.
Yes.
Okay,
Absolutely.
Commissioner Cheney,
Aye.
Commissioner Casterline, Commissioner Russo,
aye.
Commissioner Dubnik,
Aye.
Judge Garza.
Aye, passes 5-0. I struck number 11. We're gonna move on to item number 12.
Move to approve moving the position of contracts and procurement specialist from the county attorney's office to the county auditor's office.
I'll second that.
Got a motion and a second. This was put on had a commissioner had asked me to put this on the agenda. We had discussion last budget. What do we have? Workshop. And so this is it. This is for y'all to decide
Do we have the ability to do that?
to move a position.
Yes.
Yes,
Would this be done in this calendar year or next calendar year?
next calendar year.
2025.
That's all I'm doing.
Can I speak as a citizen and as an elected official?
Sure.
I did some research on this. I'm not an attorney. I don't know everything. I didn't read everything that is on this. But it does speak strongly in opinions and in statute both about taking employees from one elected official and usurping elected officials' authority for her own employees. As an elected official and as a citizen, I know I don't know everything on the background of this, but very little was said, and I have concerns about this. As an elected official, could this happen to me at a later date? And as a citizen in not knowing why such drastic changes are being made with very little information being given.
As the court's moved your collector. Your position, the collector's been to a couple of different.
It has,
Okay.
and that position does not have to be under any one thing, and it was agreed upon by all parties.
Okay.
That's why I brought it up. I kind of agree with what she said. I think maybe there's another way to do what you're doing, but I don't really think this way is I don't know, legal, appropriate. I don't know what term you use on it. I think maybe it can be done other way by just creating that position.
Creating a position in another.
I wasn't sure either when I brought that up in my statement. I said it had been auditor's office or maybe another way. And I know in some counties, they actually have that contract procurement officer as I understand a one-person department. And some other counties may be more than that, but whatever, I want to do whatever is right from that standpoint. And I understand your point too, but you're saying that, but at one point in time, the court did agree to move that away from the county auditor's office because that's where that position was before. So it's not like it's, pulling something out of the hat from that standpoint.
And
My concern with that statement is that when Amanda came in and spoke to this conversation, I don't feel like she was in agreement with it.
well, the position was in the auditor's office before, but to another point to what you're saying, from experience, I can tell you in the past, we've had positions that were under a department head. And just my personal opinion, that department head would abuse the position and have those people doing other things than what they were designated to do. And over the years that I've been here, that's happened more than one time. And that's why, to me, it's a good reason to have it somewhere else. I just don't believe the way it's on the agenda is the proper way to go about it. I think maybe we need to look at, I think we can accomplish the same thing but I don't think this is.
What does the county auditor think? Yeah, and I'm not talking about, I'm only talking about the position. I'm not talking about person or anything like that. But you think it makes more sense to have the procurement specialist under the county auditor, or is that something that needs to go somewhere else?
Procurement is normally under the auditor's office, and I do not have a problem at all with him coming into our office or the position being put into my office.
Are you having any problem with it where it is now? Not, again, all personnel out of it, but does it cause any lag or any type of delay in getting something processed?
Yes.
Does it?
I'll answer the question for her.
Yes, it does.
Okay.
I would also mention that I used to be an employee under an elected official, and the court moved me out from under that elected official. So there is precedent.
And I'm going to read the background. So I made this agenda item. The proposal is to move the contracts and procurement specialist position from the county attorney's office to the county auditor's office. It is driven by the need for increased efficiency, alignment of responsibilities, and improved oversight in the county's procurement process. The key justifications for this change is enhanced financial oversight. Relocating the position to the auditor's office will improve the alignment of the procurement activities with county's financial management. Streamlined process, centralized procurement functions within the auditor's office will eliminate redundancies and foster more efficient coordination between contract management and financial operations. And separation of duties. This move will allow the county attorney's office to focus on its core legal functions, while the auditor's office handles the administrative and financial aspects of procurement. I think it's a good idea just for the efficiency part. It's good for the county. But
Commissioner Casterline, if I may, I think you had the correct question of whether or not the Commissioners Court has the authority to move. To clarify, you also said in the past, a position has been moved from a department. A department is separate from an elected office. So right now, we're possibly encroaching on a territory of an elected official to determine who is in their office or
I would
not.
kind of agree with that, but I don't think I said exactly what you said. I said the procurement was done in the auditor's office prior to this position being put in. In my personal opinion, it worked better when it was there.
You're absolutely correct that it used to come out of the auditor's office. It was before my time that for reasons unknown to me why it was ever moved out, but here we are.
Actually, I thought that the creation of the position, that the person that does it was a contract position. I'm kind of puzzled at how it ever got to be procurement. My guess is, and stuff that I've caught in different conversations, is when the position was put in there as a contract specialist, and then the person was sent to school for procurement. And basically, to me, the procurement was taken away from Colin, Renee, and Elle were doing a lot of the stuff. And to me, it was kind of taken away from them too, as part of it, because it's kind of all intertwined with the job that was in the auditor's office and the people that were doing it in the past. I don't know. I think it was better where it was before, and there might be another option, but that might be as good or better than this. But
Well,
I would agree that I don't
Sure.
believe it's the best where it is right now.
Again, it was before my time.
Yeah.
So it's hypothetical that if Colin, Elle, and Renee, none of whom are in the auditor's office, were doing procurement, that maybe it would have made sense to have one
They
sole
weren't
person
doing
doing.
procurement. I don't think they were doing a lot of the research for the auditor's office and what they were doing.
I have a separate question for clarification of when exactly this would take effect, because I think it would have an effect on what happens next.
January 2025.
So January 1st, 2025.
That's correct. Start of the new budget year.
And just to reiterate what I said, I worked for an elected official and my position was moved from that elected official's office by the Commissioner's Court. So, I mean, there is precedent Now, if there's a question on if there's a better way to transact moving the position, I certainly support moving the position to the auditor's office. That's where it started out, and I think it worked well there. I would be willing, and I'm just one person, but I would be willing to perhaps table this until we can do more research and find out.
Well, the
There are
fact
not
that,
people to agree with me.
well, the fact that, that the procurement deals with budget more so than, you know, other areas of an elected official's, charge, or really any official, any, department head's charge. It was originally in the auditor's office, and to my knowledge, the auditor had no disagreement with, the position being in her office. Is that correct?
Yes, sir, that's correct. With all the grants and stuff, it became a very, very full-time job. And when we did the contract specialist, we felt like that wasn't going to be as much of a full-time job, so we put the two together. And at the time, felt like it was better in the county attorney's office because of the contracts. But it has proved that we probably need to have it back in our office just for some of the cohesive working together and being able to not have redundancy.
Well,
on
at
stuff.
some point, we need to get past Harvey. You know, what we did because of
Yeah.
Harvey, and we're almost there.
Well,
we-
we're almost there, except we're fixing to do the MIT-mod, and that's another part of Harvey. So we're
Okay.
still working on Harvey
But
stuff.
the point being is that, you know, we've got to start moving on beyond Harvey.
Yes, sir.
And we had to make a lot of hard decisions, you know, the first 3 or 4 or 5 months or 2 years after Harvey came, and we had to make some very difficult decisions. This is one of them.
Mhm.
And I'm just wondering if it's not time to relook at that and other things that we did because of Harvey. I mean, you were absolutely right. I mean, everybody was just drowning, and, you know, and y'all just didn't have the time. Y'all were handling all these different things coming in, and it was a good move at the time, but I think it's time to move back.
When I brought this up, one thing because it's a budget time. So my question is, can we approve this being transferred to the county auditor's office effective January 1st, 2025, pending a legal opinion on condition that the legal opinion is in agreement with this?
I'll change my motion to include that.
Seconded.
Could you please reword that amendment?
Let me reword the motion, I guess. I move to approve moving the position of contracts and procurement specialist from the county as let me make it a little different than what's on here. I move to approve moving and possibly separating the position of contracts and procurement specialist from the county attorney's office to the county auditor's office, pending opinion by the attorneys is how to do that correctly or legally.
Is this something that we may need to table and come back with several items to handle the process of doing that, you know, the funding and everything?
I think doing it this way should work.
I think this is fine.
I think Commissioner Cashline is absolutely correct in doing it, but I'm also think he's correct in this is a process we've got to do and do specifically.
So he has a
I
motion.
think we can
There's a
do it.
motion.
I
There's a
think
motion
we
on the
can
floor.
do it with the motion, and if we need to look into the actual procedure of how to do it more, we can do that in the process.
There's an amended motion on the floor. Who seconded the first one?
I do.
Okay. So Jackie, your office, the auditor's office, y'all are in charge of, I don't want to use the wrong word, reviewing the contracts and making sure that all the payments are in accordance with the contract. Is that?
Yes.
Because the initial creation of the contracts job was spurred by the fact that all of the contracts that anybody in the county has were not in the same place. The
Exactly.
job of the contract specialist initially was to accumulate all of those contracts
correct.
and have them in one place. Whether the departments or whoever that had that contract still kept a copy or not, but the originals were set to be pulled into one place where you could record when they came up for renewal, and you knew about well ahead of time when they were coming up, and attorneys had time to review the contracts and,
Yes, sir.
you know, whatever we had to do with them. That was the initial reason that we created the position. Now, whether you need to be in the attorney's office to do that part of it, I don't know. I mean, I was always surprised that since y'all in auditing keep track of everything, didn't have to keep a contract in your office.
We do keep a copy of every contract in our office. Yes, sir.
Whenever we
Are we
sign,
supposed to keep a
That's
copy of if we get them?
that's what I was gonna ask. Whenever we sign contracts, do you get a copy of all the contracts all the time?
Not without having to ask several times occasionally. I mean, it's hit and miss.
I would say
But
that
we
we
need
should start
everyone.
making it a condition of the judge signing that he has a copy in his hand when he signs it to give to you.
Yeah, because we are required to
Pretty
keep a
good.
copy of every.
The only
contract.
problem with what you were asking for is that he gets a copy then. Tracy does get a copy, but most often we are getting signatures from other people in other locations. It's not a completed contract at the time judge signs it most often.
Right.
And that process varies in time. And could people make mistakes and not send it to a person when that one contract comes in? Yes. The number of contracts coming through this court this year alone has got to be in the hundreds.
Yeah, but we've had people that basically departments that refuse to give the auditors a copy of a contract.
To clarify,
That's a-
sir, they
that's a-
refused to give them to me too. And I'm the contract
That shouldn't
attorney.
happen. Who are the attorneys and the auditor's office both need copies. If that
I
department
agree.
doesn't want to give it to them, you know, to me, they don't have that authority to refuse.
I would agree with that statement.
And so, I mean, you can always make a condition that the judge signs last.
Well, we do, and to answer or to respond to what Misty said, we accept them with just the one signature. At least that's why we have to track and know that
Right.
we're waiting, and we identify it as a partial. And once we get the full, but then at least we know it's working and we know what to look
Yeah.
for and to ask for. So we do take those.
All right.
Can I ask you a separate question? Because someone mentioned the word budget. If this were moved out of the county attorney's office, does the county attorney still maintain her budget as it is right now? Because it's a position, not necessarily a person, and she has put forward a budget that includes the payment of all the people she employs.
Well, I think the salary line would go with the position.
Right. So if that left, does that necessarily mean that the county attorney's budget will no longer include a budget for people? Because we have 6 attorneys in the office, and I know she could use another paralegal or legal assistant.
This,
No, the money goes with the position. If this isn't the right way to do it, then do we defund the position, open the position up, a new position?
That's what I'm asking.
Is that the right way to do it then?
I don't think it's authorized from the start. So, because I think it's a unique, part of county government of departments being under the county judge, of elected offices employing their own people. At the same time, everybody's still a county attorney. I think the best way is to have an agreement. And right now there's not an agreement, which is why it's here. I understand that at one time Aransas County moved Commissioner Russo from an elected office to someone else.
No. Well, I was moved to under the judge, but we had
Right.
another situation where the person who had handled elections was under the county clerk's office and then was moved from under the county clerk's office separate, and I think then reported to the county judge, and the salary line moves with the position. My salary as the deputy treasurer for HR didn't stay in the treasury department. It moved over to a separate line item to follow me.
Okay. I'm
And
just
that's what happened for
Also for
county
clarification,
elections.
I don't work for the county judge. I work for the district judges.
Yes.
Okay.
So there,
But yes, to answer your question, if this position goes under the auditors, the county attorney's office the salary will be reduced.
So the county attorney's office both loses a person and funding.
The salary that goes with that position.
And will the county attorney be given more money to hire a person for a separate job?
No, why would we
Not-
do that? Is this position doing other jobs?
No, Eric is only doing procurements and contract.
Okay, then
That's it. What I'm asking is the department itself, if that position was moved, could easily justify hiring another paralegal because we have 6 attorneys.
That's a separate issue.
that's a separate issue. Then bring forth through the court a job description.
So should she bring that forth before you vote on the budget? Because this would affect her budget. And if
But
the vote passes before she has a chance to bring that, she's on vacation for the next week. So should the county attorney amend her budget?
So.
For the
is
next
she
year.
Currently using Eric for a paralegal?
No, sir. He's only doing procurement and contracts. But that is a person who assists me in my job in reviewing contracts as a contract attorney for the county. So there are other things that could assist me or any of the other attorneys. We have 6. And so we could easily find a way to hire a paralegal or a legal assistant. But if this is budgetary and our budget's about to close for the year, I'm just asking whether or not we need to tell Amanda to come represent a budget
we
to the
could
Commissioners
all-
Court.
We could all easily find a way to add to our staff. All of us could.
But if she would have needed more staff, it seems to me like everybody else, she would already presented that she needed somebody else for us to deliberate on.
I think we're getting away from the agenda item
think
actually
right.
that we're
I think so,
discussing.
too.
The discussion as the amended item is to approve moving the position of contract and procurement specialist from county attorney's office to the county auditor's office, pending receipt of opinion by legal authority or something of that nature. And all the other discussion is way beyond that agenda
I mean,
item.
outside legal.
So I would call the question.
All right.
Commissioner Cheney,
Aye.
Commissioner Casterline,
Aye.
Commissioner Russo,
Aye.
Commissioner Dupnick,
Aye.
Judge Garza.
Aye, passes 5-0. Item number 13.
I move to discuss the option to add a governmental affairs position to the county judge's office to provide legal support to Commissioners Court.
Second.
Got a motion, got a second. This was also a extension of our discussion from our budget. Our budget workshop. Is Commissioner's time to speak? Have my time, but
Would this be, this would be a position, it says the county judge's office, but it does also say in support of Commissioner's Court.
right, because
So
it would be under the county judge's office, but support the court.
would we need to assign or budget extra dollars for this at this time?
That's up to y'all.
Well,
Right now, we don't have the budget for this.
so if right now we're just discussing it, but if we decided to add this, we would have to add a
We would
salary.
Have to add a
commensurate
salary.
with it.
Yes, ma'am.
Do you have an estimate of what the salary would?
I was gonna go with what our current starting salary is for an attorney. Which is 102, I believe.
No, sir, it is not.
Oh,
I think it's in the 80s. isn't it?
80s.
Yeah, just to clarify, the Commissioners Court has no authority to hire an attorney. That solely, per the Texas Constitution, rests with the county attorney. And so that would be an unauthorized use of the Commissioners Court's power. There's a Attorney General opinion right in front of me that also has controlling law from the Texas Supreme Court and from the Court of Appeals out of Corpus Christi. So it is very affirmatively stated that the only person who may hire an attorney is the county attorney.
Which opinion is that?
This one is Texas Attorney General Opinion JM 1281,
What date was that?
1990.
Jim Maddox.
Right, so there is an opinion from Greg Abbott, GA-0153,
Mhm.
where at the end it says, Commissioners Court. It says, provide that it does not delegate duties constitutionally or statutorily vested in the county attorney's office, the Fannin County Commissioners Court may employ legal counsel to advise and represent it in civil matters without securing the county attorney's consent.
Right, so statutorily, and the county attorney's job is to bring and defend all suits against the county and in the name of the county.
Right, well, this position is not going to file lawsuits.
So, but is it an attorney?
Could be, yeah.
Actually, just within the last 2 weeks, we received the TAC Legalese newsletter. We get that electronically. All the commissioners do, I'm assuming elected officials do also, and department heads. And one of the questions that was in there was, can a commissioner hire a separate attorney? And the answer was two-faced. A commissioner could not hire an attorney to represent the commissioner solely in some sort of a lawsuit. Say, there was a situation where a person was having road work done in their precinct, maybe to benefit the commissioner or a supporter. And the commissioner could not hire an attorney through the court, through his official category to represent him. However, it said the Commissioner's Court can hire an attorney separate from the county attorney's office to provide legal information. And that was just, I think, like 2 weeks ago that we got that tag.
If
I
may,
didn't print it out. I just read it.
could I ask one question? Might clarify some of the discussion. Has this job description been written that we're talking about funding?
No, sir.
Because that would set your parameters and.
Right, I've got draft, but no, I haven't written it.
But that's on the agenda for tomorrow.
Right.
I think there are counties who have this position already in place. So there probably are job descriptions. I just don't think we have a job description.
San Patricio County has that job.
Okay.
Yeah,
They have their own attorney and the court does and. that's-
So I don't know if you heard Commissioner Casterline has soft voice. San Patricio has that sort of a position.
Lots of, Commissioner Dubnik and I at our last conference conferred with an attorney there that represent most of the counties in the state. And he actually said that he couldn't believe we hadn't done it already in the past, that most counties have gone to that.
Does San Patricio
would
have a
think-
district attorney? Does San Patricio have a district attorney?
Yeah.
Yes, I do.
Because if that's the case, that could be the answer. Most people have both a district attorney and a county attorney. Aransas County is special. We have a county attorney with felony jurisdiction because we don't have a district attorney. So our county attorney does both civil and criminal.
I'm
That
pretty
one's
that
by
San
statute.
Patricio also has a county attorney.
Right. So if whoever's serving the commissioner's court there would likely fall under the county attorney's
That's
office.
not what the judge told me there.
Okay.
I talked to him about it. He said, but I would suggest that we need to talk to outside counsel
Okay.
on that and get some guidelines on it and come up with the statute that they and have all of that when we bring it up. I don't know.
Ms.
would-
Martinez, it sounds like you're suggesting we need to separate the county district attorney powers from the county attorney so that.
No, sir,
Oh,
I am
is that
not.
what you're suggesting?
No,
Okay.
it's already in the statutes of the state of Texas
Yeah, but that could be
that our
changed.
Aransas County, I guess it
Yeah.
could be changed, but what I would caution anyone is to operate within the authority that has been written by statute. Because anything that goes against what has been given power by statute would be unauthorized and invalid.
Was
Void.
the one you read from Attorney General, was that from Attorney General and Governor Abbott when he was Attorney General, or what was that statute you had, Judge?
Oh, it's opinion GA 0153. It was by Greg Abbott when he was Attorney General.
Okay.
And I got this copy from a very highly respected attorney in Texas,
Who was it?
Jim Allison.
What was the date on that?
That's the same attorney.
The date on this is 2004.
Mm.
And actually, I believe Mr. Allison actually wrote a paper on this subject that is available.
I asked him, he sent me this. But it's
I call the question.
well,
We're
I was
not
gonna-
voting.
Yeah, we're not
just
voting.
discussing.
This is just discussing. And I'll ask Commissioner. Are you happy with your legal support right now?
No, I would rather have it not in the county attorney's office.
Commissioner Cheney, are you happy with your legal support?
Sure like a little bit better.
Okay.
Judge, I would say that if that's not on your agenda item, we might be straying from your
Well, I'm just-
agenda item as to
Okay.
whether or not you're satisfied with the county attorney's representation.
Well, maybe it's a vote of confidence. I don't know. But all right.
Well,
So-
see,
Are we done discussing this
Yeah.
then?
We'll
This
move
says
on.
discuss on the agenda item.
Discussing a vote of confidence in the county attorney?
Just says discuss it.
I didn't take that as a vote of confidence in the county attorney. I took that as, do we need additional attorneys that can handle just Commissioner Ford?
And that's not what I was doing. I said, well, maybe it is a vote of confidence,
Well, I
but
have confidence in our county attorney. But I do think that we need more specialized sometimes in having to handle all of the myriad of legal activities that go on.
all right,
Look at the parking lot today.
we will move on. Discussion. Anybody got anything else? Move on to item number 13. Oh, I'm sorry, item number 14.
Discuss the budget.
Do you have something to tell us about the budget, Jackie?
Do not have any. Don't have anything additional other than what we talked about at the public hearing. Just to remind everyone that we will have another public hearing on the 5th of September and we'll adopt the budget on the 9th of September.
Have we got questions?
I'd like Jackie to look, we're gonna be contemplating, and we already have a number in there, COLA.
Mhm.
I'd like you to look at the numbers and see if part of that COLA can come out of the department budget.
I'm sorry, I couldn't understand.
Clarification. Are you wanting us to reduce our budgets to,
I want you to look at the numbers and see what's there if we can do that, it might affect the amount of the COLA. We have room in the budget to fund some of it from the department's budget instead of the general fund.
it is all in the department's budgets. You just see it in the general fund because that's the ones that are affected by the general fund.
Still comes from the general fund if you do a COLA.
Not all of it. It comes from each department.
I know, but you put the money in the department from the general fund and it goes out.
I think what he's
I guess
asking
I'm
is,
not
right now
understanding.
proposed is a 5% COLA.
Right.
We could go down to 2.5% to try to level out this budget a little more. But instead of taking the money from the COLA, take it from the departments, like 2% from the departments.
So reduce the
Reduce
budget,
the budget.
not payroll, but
I'm
just
asking you
the.
to look at the numbers.
Okay,
before
we can do that. I mean,
Somebody
everything's
together.
pretty tight right now, so I'm not sure that there's enough leeway to make that much difference, but we can look at,
Kind of a balance, but.
we can
wanna
look
give
at it.
Employees more, but then you're looking at.
I can
You
tell
know,
you in my
everybody's-
budget, I buy our pens out of my own pocket. I buy many, 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 many things for my department out of my own pocket because my budget is so tight now. If you take 2% out, we may not be able to have the things we need to do our jobs.
It's gotta come from somewhere. So,
We'll look and, and see if there's something.
item number 15.
I move to approve budget line item transfers.
Second.
We have none at this time.
Okay.
Commissioner Cheney.
Aye.
Commissioner Casterline.
Aye.
Commissioner Russo.
Aye.
Commissioner Dupnick.
Aye.
Judge Garza.
Aye, passes 5-0. Item number 16.
Move to approve accounts payable, payroll liabilities.
Second.
All of the payroll liabilities and accounts payable are normal. I would like to point out a few that are capital. We have in 430, we have from Hurricane Beryl, we have an expense of $6,358.50. This will be added into our project for reimbursement from FEMA at a 75/25. Mont McDonald for the street projects, the various projects of $42,604.99. DLF for the community building, we had invoice of $511,826.78. Mont McDonald for the Bayshore Drive project of $5,370. And then under
Could you
the,
say that amount? I'm sorry.
I'm sorry, $5,370.
That was for Bayshore?
Yes, ma'am.
Thank you.
And under the ARPA funds, we have Tyler Technologies for the jury software, a payment of $2,825. Was a very light capital project month.
Commissioner Cheney.
Aye.
Commissioner Casterline.
Aye.
Commissioner Russo.
Aye.
Commissioner Dupnick.
Aye.
Judge Garza.
Aye, passes 5-0. All right, at this time, we'll hear reports from commissioners, elected officials, and department heads. No action will be taken. Anybody got anything? Commissioner, you want to report on Boots by the Bay?
Oh, so Boots by the Bay was a fundraiser held by the Aransas County Youth Livestock Association this past weekend. And they had some really terrific auction items and some really terrific bids that went in. So I think it was very successful. Last year, they were able to raise and award about $75,000 to kids from that event for 4-H. So it was a good event and lots of money for the kids in 4-H.
Yep, and good food.
And good food.
Good food. Constable Harrison, you got something?
This is just a quick one to double check that we're actually conforming with government code. Just advising the court that there is a special agenda for tomorrow to discuss it further. But the grievance committee met, voted 7-4 and established the salary that you will have to adopt to conform with government code. As I understand it and read it, it says shall be submitted at the next commissioners court meeting, which would be today. So I wanted to make sure we didn't miss that window. That's all I've got. Thank you.
And the reason it's not on this agenda is because we didn't have the 72-hour
Window.
Yeah, because it was Friday. All right, we'll move on. Any elected official, department heads? Renee, you got nothing? We'll move on. Reports about items of community interest. No action will be taken. All right. Do we need a meet in closed session?
We do not. We went to court this past Wednesday on the North Star case. They have set a date for April 7th, 2025 for a trial date. They have set technically 2 dates on when mediation must be conducted. One of them was March 14th, but what the judge, and that's written, except the judge from the bench said January 31st as a mediation date. And so that's where we are. We have heard in open court that Rockport Fulton ISD intends to file its own plea to the jurisdiction, that Kathleen Hicks intends to file her own plea to the jurisdiction. The judge has ruled that that must be done within the next 30 days. And that could very likely, depending on when that's heard in court, delay the April 7th date. But that's it.
And sorry, what did you say January 31st date was?
There were two dates given for the date of mediation must be
Mediation,
concluded
okay.
by. The first one was March 14th, but then and that one's in writing. But the judge said from the bench, January 31st, 2025.
Thank you.
Would you like to hit on North Star's motion to sever the ISD?
North Star attempted to sever Rockport Fulton ISD from the lawsuit because they found out that RFISD was going to file a plea to the jurisdiction. North Star said, we think that'll take too long, so we want to move ahead without them and sue them in their own separate case. And the judge said they're allowed to file their plea to the jurisdiction in the next 30 days. And then we'll go from there.
And denied the motion. Yeah. Right. Oh, she did deny it, right?
The motion to sever, at this time, she denied the motion to sever, but they're going to file their plea to the jurisdiction.
All right, well, I will entertain a motion.
I move to adjourn.
I'll second it.
Commissioner Cheney.
Aye.
Commissioner Castellane.
Aye.
Commissioner Russo.
Aye.
Commissioner Dupnick.
Aye.
Judge Garza.
Aye. Are adjourned, thank you.